Hello, beautiful soul family. Rebecca here, your vibe mentor. And this is the space for conscious, purpose driven entrepreneurs who want to remove the blocks that hold them back so you can help manifest abundance on earth and create the new earth, heaven on earth. So, today, let's talk about taking your power back versus being in the victim triangle. So, when I first started out, this channel, like I said, is all about helping good, kind hearted, conscious, heart centered beings step into the purpose that they were made for. You are all perfectly imperfect for your purpose, as am I, which means imperfection is part of the deal. And we all have this tendency to want to be a good person, especially if you have experienced a difficult childhood or toxic relationship at any point in your life, or even just live in this day and age where the world wants to tell you you're not enough unless. We have this tendency to want to prove our value and worth. We want to know we are enough. We want to know that we are worth being treated properly. And sometimes the brain can get confused and it thinks that being a martyr or a victim is going to help us realize or recognize or see the evidence of our value and worth. We feel like if we are helpless or meek or mild or people pleasing, easygoing, any of these things that sort of fall into that victim category, we feel or we thought for a long time that that was going to pay off, that it was going to show people how good we are so they will treat us well. It's as if we were depositing into a bank of virtue, saying, look at me, look at how good I am, look at how meek and mild I am, look at how weak I am, look at how soft I am. Treat me properly, please. Love me, please. Take care of me, please. It comes to a point where the energy signature is of, well, not just victimhood, but desperation. And it's actually somewhat repulsive that many times people who are caught in that victim triangle, who are caught in that victim position, come from an early wounding, however it happened, whether it's through media or toxic childhood or anything in between or all of the above. We come from a place of pain. We come from a place of hurt. And unfortunately, as much as we all deserve to be loved and respected and treated properly, and one would think logically that if I show I'm a good person, then people will treat me properly. But unfortunately, the world doesn't work the way we think it should. The laws of the universe, God, source, divine creator, universe, I don't know, the gray matter, whatever you want to call it, right? Just non-local consciousness, intelligence, doesn't matter how you label it. It just doesn't work that way. It is not as logical as one would think. That as we deposit into that bank of virtue, we would expect to be able to make a withdrawal, but we never get that paycheck. Payday never comes. And unfortunately, people read that energy as somewhat repulsive. And when we are sending out the message, I'm weak, I'm desperate, I need you to like me, then the very opposite of what we are hoping to come comes. We get abused, taken advantage of, manipulated, forgotten, unappreciated. And then from there, what happens? We feel frustrated. We feel annoyed. We feel passive aggressive. We have this pent up frustration that says, can't you see I'm a good person? Look at how much I've done for you. Look at how much I overgave for you. Look at how much I self-sacrificed for you. Can't you see me? Don't you respect me? Don't you love me? And then continuing down the rabbit hole, it leads to what's wrong with me. I've done all of these good things. I'm a good person. And yet they still don't love me. I must have done something wrong. There must be something wrong with me. I must be bad, wrong, broken, Maybe I deserve to be abandoned. Maybe I deserve to be punished. Then we will take on the voice of whatever abuser or trauma we initially experienced. Again, media or toxic relationship, toxic childhood, doesn't matter. But we integrate that toxic inner critic, self-blame, beating ourselves up. We think that if we flatulate ourselves, then we'll be deserving. Then they'll treat us better. Then it'll improve. And unfortunately, that is not the case. It leads to breakdown, burnout, system shutdown, nervous system shutdown, physical body fatigue, disease, where we've taken on too much. We're not loving ourselves. We're not treating ourselves properly. We're teaching others to treat us as if we deserve nothing, as if we were dirt. And so we are stuck in the victim position or even in the victim triangle. Now, if you look at the victim triangle, there are 3 different positions. You can be either the victim, the persecutor, or the rescuer. And when you're in the victim mentality or energy, you have that sense of, I'm blameless, poor me, what's wrong with me? Nobody ever treats me properly. If you are the rescuer, it's still coming from that place of subversive or subtle or even a little bit sneaky, right? Then the ego's a sly pirate. It's a little bit manipulative, where the rescuer says, look at me, I'm rescuing somebody. Look at, I'm good. I saved someone. Look at how good I am. Treat me properly. Love me. Take care of me, please. And it's a very similar, desperate, over-giving energy that, again, is repulsive. And I don't mean it in you're disgusting. This is not about making you feel bad, but it really repulses people. It repels people from you. When the very thing that you are trying to do is draw to you love and respect, it's pushing away. Now, the third option within the victim triangle is the persecutor. The persecutor, and surprisingly, all 3 of these positions are actually very controlling, very subtle, controlling in the victim and the rescuer, a bit more overt in the persecutor. But the persecutor is also very rigid and says, I'm right, do what I say. They're trying to control, manipulate, and force what they want. Now, interestingly, we can move from one position to the other. We can go from victim to persecutor to rescuer to victim again. And any of the 3 positions can switch spots. It's a dangerous place to be. You will never win. And you will keep going back and forth from these positions until you basically come to the bottom of the barrel and say, I give up, like, what the heck's going on? I can't figure this out. This is not working. Ideally, you would come to that place where you figure out your approach is not working and you stop doing it and try something different. Like Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, literally is the definition of crazy. So we want to exit the triangle. We do not want to be the victim. We do not want to be the rescuer. We certainly don't want to be the persecutor. So how do we do this? This is what it means to take your power back. You are not helpless, nor do you need to be rigid and controlling. We don't need to be an aggressor. We don't need to be so passive that we are taking advantage of, nor do we need to rescue anyone. Now, it's important to remember that everything every single person does comes from a desire to thrive. If I take an action, if I make a statement, it is in an effort to do well in my life. I have a belief that this thing that I'm saying or doing is going to make my life better. It's going to help keep me safe. It's going to help put food on my table. So it's important to remember that every single person that we encounter is coming from that place. They truly believe that the thing that they are saying or doing is necessary for their survival. So give yourself that grace that no matter where you're at in the triangle, Everything you've done so far comes from a place of needing to survive and hopefully thrive. We just need better, more resourceful ways, and nobody taught us how. And when you know better, you do better. So taking your power back means exiting that triangle, not being in any of those positions, recognizing that you are a sovereign being. You are not dependent on anyone else. You are one with God, your creator, the divine, the universe. You are one with the source of creation. You have everything you need within you. And I used to dislike those statements that people would make that seemed to make sense, but I just don't get it. They were so annoying. I don't like that. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? That can be frustrating. But what it means is to stop searching outside of you to get your needs met. That when we meet our own need first, we then attract to us the external stimuli or external environmental situations that reflect to us that met need and continue to amplify what we have already created. So if you are looking for love and respect, it starts with loving and respecting yourself first, and then you will draw to you those who do that. You are not inferior, nor are you superior. We are all on a level playing field here. We are all equally one with the divine. We are all equally made perfectly and perfect for a purpose. We all equally have extremely gorgeous and beautiful talents and gifts. We are all equally made to do something that matters in the world. We all equally deserve our dreams, a good life, the love and respect that we seek. But we can't have any of those things until one, we believe we do deserve it, and two, we take it for ourselves. And that can sound very selfish. So I want to clarify that. We must create it for ourselves. We're not taking from anyone, and this is not about being a selfish person. We are here to serve others, but we can't do that from an empty place. We have to start with building ourselves up first, making ourselves strong again so that we can pour into others. No one should have to suffer. If everyone starts to take care of their own psychological and physical needs, we then can start pouring into each other. And that is how we create abundance in the world, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. And I will do a whole nother video on that because it's really important to understand this service to self versus service to others. They're not mutually exclusive. But for now, for those of you who are stuck in the victim triangle, who are working on taking your power back, you are going to have to focus on yourself for a while until you build yourself up to a place where you are strong enough again to give from a boundaried place, from an abundant place, not from a self-sacrificing, over-giving, please love me, desperate place. There is a difference. Okay. Authenticity is another really key piece in healing this, that when we are in that victim state, or even the rescuer or the perpetrator, we are coming from a place of emptiness. We are acting from a place of lack. And we become someone other than who we naturally are because we think that's going to accomplish the goal. We are, as the victim, afraid that people won't love us if we don't wear a mask. As the rescuer, we put on this virtuous cloak that says, look at me, which is still inauthentic. And as the persecutor, we become more egotistical. We boast ourselves, we boost ourselves up, we become bigger, we puff ourselves out to seem more intimidating, again, to cover for a fragile ego, lack, emptiness, wounding. So authenticity is one of probably the second most important keys after remembering your authority, being the sovereign being, knowing that you are capable, you have everything within you, then step into your authentic nature. Be who you truly are, unapologetically. Owning the way you were made beautifully and perfectly imperfect by your creator. Every ounce of you is perfect. Not a single part of you should be rejected, denied, abandoned, sent away, fractured. You must be whole in your authenticity. Owning your power and authority also means remembering your ability to create, that you are a creator. You are creating all the time. The energy that is coming, that you are creating inside of you is coming out of you. It is energy in motion. Your emotion, the way you feel, is creating and drawing to you more of the same. There's power in that. Yes, it will be difficult at first to shift out of your old habits, your old neural pathways, your old tendencies. It takes some effort to drive yourself over the speed bump. But once you get on the other side, there's momentum there and it's easier. You have the power and authority in your own life to shift and change that. Yes, you will have to retrain people how to treat you. Some people may even have to leave your life. But you have that ability. You have that responsibility. Refuse to be abused. No more. I'm just not going to take it. No is a complete sentence. That was one of my most favorite things that I learned. I should tell you my story. When I was a younger person, I was very much like this. I was very much that poor me. What's wrong with me? Nobody likes me. Why don't they treat me properly? And it took hitting the bottom of the barrel. I was depressed. I was in multiple narcissistic relationships. I was taken advantage of consistently and regularly. And I just kept giving and giving and giving and people pleasing and saying yes when I meant no and no when I meant yes. And I hit that point in my life where I remember I was sitting on the floor of my kitchen. It's funny. It was a second floor flat in the Chicagoland area and the kitchen walls were yellow. I don't know why I remember this, but the stove was like freestanding and there was like nothing on either side. It was just the strangest setup. Strange Chicago apartments, right? And I just remember sitting there and I've always had the blessing of having friends who were in the psychology world, which should have told me something way sooner, but just sitting there talking to my friend, her name was Renee, and just saying, I can't get out of my head. I don't understand. I feel like I'm trapped in the prison of my head. It just goes round and round and round, this constant questioning. I'm a good person. Why do they keep treating me this way? Why does this keep happening? Why is life so hard? How do I get out of this? How do I make it stop? And just going round and round and round. And I didn't realize until I think at that point, she said, you might want to go see a therapist, which I heeded her very wise words, got lucky, found an amazing therapist. He gave me the book called A Peaceful Mind. It's the book I claim that changed my life, saved my life. It was the moment that things started to shift and change because I hadn't realized up until that point you have to manage your thoughts. I mean, there's something going on up here that it's amazing that we can live in our heads. We can have all of these thoughts, 70, 80, 90,000 thoughts a day. I think like 70% of them are repeated and not realize that we're having all of these thoughts. And it was this light bulb moment. Like I literally felt like I was trapped in a linen closet with the lights out and somebody just pulled the chain link on the light bulb and it was like, bing. Hello, welcome to life. Here you go. You are stuck in your head and you're not managing your thoughts. And then from there, the next thing he said was, no is a complete sentence. I could say no. I could say no to being a victim. I could say no to doing things I didn't want to do. I could say no to giving away my power. I could say no to being a rescuer. I could say no to anything that I didn't want in my life. I could say no to creating more of the same of those things I didn't want in my life. And to say that no is a complete sentence means I don't have to justify. I don't have to explain. I don't have to convince you that my no is reasonable or acceptable. I just get to say no. That's not for me. And here's the beautiful part about it. Not only are you one with the source of creation and you are made perfectly and perfect for your purpose, but you are the only one who has access to how that feels to tap into that alignment to your original design, the alignment to your purpose, so nobody else can question you. Nobody else can challenge your no, because only you know what is right for you. Of course, that requires a very high level of self-honesty and discipline so that you're not deceiving yourself. But from there, if you say no, that's enough. That's taking your power back. I am the creator. I say yes. I say no. Period. So we have to stop acting from that place of poor me, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we're the ones with the power. We're the ones with the authority, and we can give it away or we can take it back. That's your choice. We get to stop ignoring our needs. We have to stop ignoring our needs. You can come from both positions. I get to, and also I have to. Both for me were required. I get to stop taking care of everybody else. I get to stop taking responsibility for how everyone else feels. And we have to stop giving into things that aren't right for us, that are not aligned. We also have to stop that toxic inner voice and that toxic self-blame. No more overgiving. No more people pleasing. Just authenticity and alignment. So here's something to note. Something I kind of referenced earlier is everything we do comes from a place of reason, right? And the things we say and do, we do because we believe they are necessary for us to survive. So everything we've done so far has played a role. It served a purpose. It met a need. And so without meeting that need, we're not going to be able to stop doing the things we've been doing. So we have to ask ourselves, why did I overgive? Why did I people please? Why did I play the victim role? Why was I the rescuer? Why was I the perpetrator? What need did that meet for me? And then now I get to still meet that need, but I have to do it in a resourceful, respectful, kind way, a sustainable way. So let's see, if I were to think back to my story, why did I do that? I wanted people to love me. I wanted to be respected. I wanted to be treated properly. I wanted to be seen for who I was. I am a good, kind-hearted person, and I wanted people to see that. I just went about it the wrong way. Nobody taught me any better, and so I didn't know any better. It seemed logical that if I prostrate myself, that's probably not the best term, but I was not a prostitute. Overgiving was my point. We think that if we give so much that people are going to see, oh, wow, what a great person she is. But actually, we're just teaching people to abuse us and take advantage. So if I want to be seen for being a good person, I want to be a good person, I like to help people, then I do that from a boundaried place. One, I tell myself I am a good person. I acknowledge myself for who I am. I show up for myself. I take care of myself. I deserve a massage. I deserve a house cleaner. I deserve to take a nap. I deserve to make a yummy, delicious soup for myself. I deserve my favorite kombucha drink every now and then. I take care of myself. I treat myself properly. And from that place, I then fill my cup so that I can pour into others. And because I know I help a lot of people and I'm doing good work, that's enough. I don't need to overgive so that someone else will reflect that back to me, because I'm reflecting it to myself, for myself. And you get to do the same. So identify, what is the need that you were trying to meet? Why were you doing those things? And how can you give that to yourself? Remembering this is not that you'll always be alone and the only person you can ever count on is yourself, and you'll never have anybody to love and respect you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when we give it to ourselves, we then emanate that frequency and that vibration. So we become the attraction point for that. So we draw to us the people who are going to do that for us as well. As within, so without. The next step is to look at your self-talk, because we are most many people in the world abuse themselves internally. We take on that toxic inner critic and we listen to it. And somehow at some point we decided that if we beat ourselves up, we'll earn something. Or if we beat ourselves up, we'll punish ourselves into behavior or doing the things we wish we would have done. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't work. It never has worked and it never will work. No amount of negative self-talk will ever accomplish the goal. Beating yourself up does not work. Yes, self-honesty is necessary. Yes, self-discipline is necessary. But I'll tell you what, self-honesty paired with compassion and kindness is actually very effective. You can say, hey, you know what? That really wasn't an awesome choice yesterday. Probably could have handled that better. It sucks, but you did the best you could and you really did try hard, and it wasn't awesome, but it wasn't terrible. It could have been worse. And I know you've got this in you. You can do really well. So let's not worry too much about it. Let's let it go. What's done is done. And let's try again. We're going to do better this time. This is the thing I learned about last time. And this is how I know I could do it better next time. And we've got this. I learned so quickly. Like, this is no big deal. Totally got this. Next time, it's going to be awesome and amazing. So you can see how you acknowledge what happened. You can acknowledge where there's a room for improvement, and then you treat yourself kindly. You build yourself up. You have positive, kind, and empathetic language towards yourself. If I sat there and said, you're an idiot, what's wrong with you? Like, even my whole body, as I start to say that, just cringes and recoils. That's how we cause ourselves to play small, is by beating ourselves up like that. I don't know how you would expect, if as a coach, you would yell at your athletes like that. I guaranteed the guy who berates his athletes is nowhere near as successful as the one who, yes, calls out their downfalls, but also encourages and supports and builds them up. And I'm sure there's coaches out there that would argue with me, but that's beside the point. It's an analogy. So whatever, have a heyday. I'm not paying attention. All right. And then finally, remember, you are the creator, creating all the time. So ask yourself this question. 3 questions I'm going to leave you with today. Ask yourself these 3 questions. After we go, take a minute, 2 minutes, write down the answers to these. Writing it down is so critical because it will solidify it in your body. 1, what have you been creating? What are you creating in this moment? And what have you been creating up until this point? What is the self-talk? What is your position in the victim triangle? Are you giving your power away? Are you taking your power back? What have you been creating up until this point? And then question number 2 is, what do you want to create? And then number 3, what is the difference between what you have been creating and what you want to create? And how do you have to shift? What do you need to stop doing? And what do you need to start doing to stop creating what you have been creating and to start creating what you want to create? So many times we are acting unconsciously. We are asleep on autopilot, creating more of the same, and we don't even realize we're doing it. It's like I said earlier, living in your head, having all of these thoughts and not even being aware of them. If we don't take 3 minutes to answer those questions, we will continue to live unconsciously, creating more of the same. So really get intimate with, what energy are you feeling? How do you feel? Do you feel like a victim? Do you feel like a rescuer? Do you feel taken advantage of? Do you feel tired, fatigued, withdrawn? Or do you feel excited for life? Likely, if you're already to the end of this video, you're not in need of this thing. So if you're still here, there's a reason. So look at, what are you feeling? And that tells you what you're creating. What do you want to feel? And that tells you what you want to create. And then what is the difference between what you're feeling and what you're not feeling or want to feel? And what do you need to do to shift and change from what you are feeling to what you want to feel? Comment below if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer questions. Don't be shy. They say the first person to comment is the bravest. So if you're the first person to comment, you are super brave, and I will give you an extra thumbs up and some love. Otherwise, I do offer free 30-minute sessions. If you prefer to talk in person, there's a link below for that. And we also have a community where people are always getting together. We get together 3 weeks out of the month. for a live Q&A session, live brain spotting, healing, all sorts of things in our community. So the New Earth Construction Team community link is below if you'd like to join us. You can have access to my courses, to me personally, as well as a community of people who are working through the blocks that hold them back from their purpose so that we can together create heaven on earth. All right. Please do make sure you like, subscribe, and share if there's anybody who you know could benefit from this. That is greatly appreciated and helps build the channel and create awareness so that we can assist in creating heaven on earth. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video, sending you all my love, and I will see you on the flip side. Take care. Namaste.